Hello artists, Miss Arroyo here again. Today we are going to be talking about value, color value, one of our elements of art. We're going to continue on with unconventional materials as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at our board. Your goal today is unconventional value scale. Now we've been working with unconventional or unusual materials, and today we're going to work with value. How you're going to do that is you're going to find a way to make a light, medium, and dark version of your materials or of your art medium. So we've done lines. Now we're going to take it up a notch. We're going to do value. Okay. Why? Because value range leads to shading. So we're going to be able to make some really even more awesome artwork. Now to review value for you. Yeah, Miss Arroyo's getting her guitar out. Okay. Here we go. A little review for you, my friends. Wish me luck. There's 7 elements of art, and this one's all about light and dark, tints and shades. It's V-A-L-U-E. A color can be light or dark or somewhere in between, but for all of those it's all about V-A-L-U-E. Value is light and dark. Value is light and dark. For shading, please make sure you use all 3, light, medium, and dark. Remember, this has nothing to do with how much it is worth. It's about the light, not the price. It's V-A-L-U-E. Lightness or darkness of a color is, it's V-A-L-U-E. That's value.
Well, now that we got that out of the way, here are 2 examples of value scales done in pencil. One is gradual and the other goes in steps, but the important thing is that they both show values going from dark to light or light to dark. Here are some other value scales using pretty standard art materials. Remember that sometimes what makes the lighter values is actually the white paper showing through. It's not like acrylic paint where we add white paint to get a tint. On the top value scale, with pen for instance, it only starts to look lighter on the right because the lines are farther apart. Now for the fun stuff. Let's look at examples with unconventional art materials. This lipstick works a lot like pastel or crayon, so it's pretty easy to get different values by using lighter pressure and even by blending with your fingertip. This dry curry powder, on the other hand, was a little harder. I had to really work to get the powder more and more spaced out so the white paper could show through more for the lighter values. Now remember, sometimes it's easier to work bigger. This dog food value scale, for instance, would be harder on a small paper, but I was really able to spread out the pieces on the kitchen floor. Sidewalk works well too. The more background that shows through, the lighter the value. In traditional art, these dots would be called stippling.
Here I'm going to make a value scale using mud. Now mud is a pretty easy one because it works very similar to watercolor. So here I have some dirt in a cup and I have some water. I have a plate over here where I've kind of mixed some of those. I've poured out a little bit of the dirt, tried to get all the big pieces out, and then I've actually just poured a little bit of water right onto the plate. Now, I'm going to use my fingers here because I'm trying to go all totally unconventional. If you had a paintbrush, if you were using a paintbrush, it would work just fine. It would work just like it would with watercolor. So you can see I'm kind of getting that there, and it's becoming like a very gritty kind of paint. So I'm going to get some of this. I'm going to mix a little bit more dirt into it, and I'm going to make a simple value scale. I'm not going to do the gradual value scale. I'm going to just do 3 separate values. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to get some of this, and I'm going to start just kind of pinching up some of my mud here. And you can see that there, where I put a lot of the mud and not much of that white paper shows through, it ends up being very dark. Okay? Let me scoot that over. Now for my next value that's going to be slightly lighter, I'm going to try getting a little bit of this on my finger, and I'm going to try letting a little bit more of the white paper show through. Now, it might be tricky at first, just like watercolor is, because every time you pick up your finger or your brush or whatever, it makes those little dots. But in just a second, I'll show you a little trick you can do with that. Right now, I'm going to go on to the lightest value. So I've got a dark, I've got kind of a medium. It's a little splotchy, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go on to the lightest. I'm going to get a little bit of this. See, I've got quite a bit of water there. And I'm just going to kind of blend it into my paper. Again, it's a little bit dotty, but that's okay. It's a little bit polka dotty, a little bit splotchy. What I can do is I can actually just dip my finger into the water, and I can come here and I can kind of just let a little water go onto that, and you can see it kind of fills it in a little bit, so it's not quite so splotchy. I can move that around a little bit. And as it dries, it will end up looking more even. And there, I've got a dark, medium, and a light value out of mud.
What unconventional materials can you use to make a value scale?